Hello, guys. Welcome to the support channel. No, just kidding. Yeah. Today I wanted to give my 2 cents about the Paladin, where I'm going with it, because I think Paladin is one of the classes which can have the same skills, so the same gear, or mostly same gear, but can has a variety of possible options there. What do you mean by that? I mean, you can tweak a lot. Um, for example, do I want more heals? Um, Essentially, it's about up times of buffs and heals and other shit. Also the size of the buffs and other stuff. So my baseline essentially is I wanted originally, before I went relic, I had pretty much equally um, equally spent points on swiftness and spec. So I mean, the thing is, a lot of people go full swiftness, which is fine. Um, but I think it's kind of, at some point, the higher you put the points, the less the less benefits you will get. Simple as that. For example, look at that. I'm at 18%, right? So if I would change that to, let's say, 1,500, I'm pretty much at 32. Yes. So 32. And also see a lot of people going for for the stacker engraven instead of other stuff. So most people I see, they use swiftness but nothing else in order to get the cooldown below or lower. So I would say 32, or let's keep. I mean, if you want to go a full with pet and everything, like 1,600 mostly, you would land at you would land at 34, right? Okay, so 34 is the baseline. I could do that. The problem with that is, I would have only the necklace for spec, which would be a realistic value would be something like this. Can't, oh no, let's realistic something like this, most likely. It's not a bad quality, but not a good one either, right? So we are at holy hour efficiency 40%, and meter gain 16%, which does make a difference because it will take longer. I mean, it is a stationary target, which makes it easy to hit. But you see the point, right? It will take me quite some time to fill the meter. I have the wealth rune equipped, obviously. Yeah, you can go swiftness. That's not a problem at all. It works pretty fine. But the downside of it is that's my buff. Yeah. I was wondering attack. Oh. So the downside of that is obviously the efficiency. Not only is your meter gain quite lower, which means less uptime for Holy Aura, but Holy Aura itself is kind of a choke. Not entirely a choke, but it is significantly worse than if you would put some points in spec simply. What you need to know is, I mean, the problem is the game doesn't. I mean, the game is garbage in terms of transparency. Means it says Holy Aura skill efficiency 40%. What does this mean? You might ask. Well, this is only shows if you test it out, and like I said, the game is garbage, which means a lot of shit actually doesn't apply to your own Paladin. You will not get most of the buffs. What you will get is the damage reduction, 20%. What you will get is the heal, but what you don't get is the additional damage that Holy Aura can provide. Holy Aura, but on basic, if you don't have any specs whatsoever, will give you 10% damage. And this shows here additional damage. You might ask, where's this number coming from? This number is normally only so per default the only value that influences it without any synergies is this one. So this comes from your weapon, 90.25% additional multiplicative damage. Holy Aura, however, will also increase the number. If you have 0 spec, it would be 10%, which means 29. The sad thing is I can show you because, like I said, I do not. The paladin itself is not getting the buff, the damage buff. He's only getting the damage reduction. You see in the buff, yeah, this is garbage. Not only does the value is the value not correct. 2%, 10% damage is not correct in this case. It would be slightly bit higher because we have 40% skill efficiency. But you also see it in the details. I didn't get it. If you want to test it yourself, get a buddy, make a Discord stream, let him show you the detail page, and then press Holy Hour, and you will see this number will go up. Not by 10%, like the label said, because the game is garbage, intransparent, and whatsoever. I mean, I would expect in a fucking sorry for the wording, in the nice little buff bar that it shows me the actual values, not some plain old label that is essentially a blind copy of this with the damage reduction from the blessed arrow engraving. So yeah, what I decided to go for essentially is I wanted to keep it kinda equally, so lesser swiftness. Um, lesser swiftness and more spec essentially. So what I went for is something like this. Let me reset it just a second. So we have the default setup right here. You see, yeah, my pet is using swiftness because I have mostly spec. So I have 1163 spec, 858 swiftness. So yeah, magic stream is going up. Wonderful. So let's check the numbers here. So spec means I have 104% or 105% holy hour skill efficiency. We will talk about that later. But the more important thing, so what engravings am I using? I'm using drops of the either. I know bad people or people who don't want to get MVP don't pick up the orbs. I'm fine with that. If they don't want to be MVP, don't take the orbs. All fine. I mean, to be fair, there are only 2 orbs which are useful. The other 3 ones are not for DPS, but still, if you see a damage orb, for God's sake, take it if you want to get MVP, because that's how you get MVP. Then Magic Stream. Magic Stream is, I think, one of the most underrated engravings in my opinion, because it gives so many benefits for support at least. I mean, it's cheap as fuck on the market. So what does this do? It stacks up to 15% MP recovery. I actually ran into MP issues when I go full swiftness. I will get into details about that. Which is nice, so I will never run into MP issues. And the more important thing is I will get my skill cooldown minus 10%, which is good because I don't spend that much points on swiftness. So when I'm at 5 stacks, I will get 10% skill cooldown. And the important thing is, this is not only a skill cooldown on my regular abilities, this also counts for awakening, which is so good. So this is a really good one. Why did I decide against stagger engraving? Simple as that. I mean, I have like one really good stagger skill, and the other ones are rather either I don't have stagger. So for example, so this one is the good one. This is Holy Sword is essentially my best stagger skill. Second best is this one, Executor Sword. I don't think it's really good to push. If I am bad at something, I shouldn't invest points into make it a little bit lesser bad. So I have my whirlwind grenade, and the rest is up to the DPS Trars, which actually can deal quite a lot of stagger with their abilities. So I don't invest in that engraving because, like I said, I mean I am mediocre at best when it comes to stagger, and I won't get super good with the stagger rune. So I would rather go with the cooldown reduction because that way I don't have to spend too many points into swiftness, which I don't want to. Essentially, I want to get more spec than swiftness. Yeah, awakening obviously, blessed aura obviously, and expert as well. Obviously, I don't think I have to want to say anything about those other engravings. So yeah, I have two presets essentially. I have a saved and preset and a full damage preset. What's the difference? Saved and preset is suffering a damage buff loss, but instead will give me insane amount of cooldown reduction. Which makes me this is essentially the preset that will give me mana issues because I am so low on cooldown that I can spam everything like stupidly high. And how does this work? It's simple. And why do I lose damage? I also will explain that. So what I do is I don't use six set bonus essentially. I'm using this one, which so people will get their swiftness and attack move speed. They will get the blessing, but what they don't get is the 8% damage. But I, on the other hand, will get the first set, the Dominion Fang bonus, the first one, which is insanely good for Paladin in terms of cooldown. The Awakening cooldown 20%. So we are at 50% Awakening cooldown, right? 50% Awakening cooldown through Awakening. We have 20% cooldown additionally on Awakening, as well as 18% skill cooldown. Ignore the skill damage, we don't need that, but we have additionally 18% skill cooldown. This is equally like 800 swiftness roundabout. So I don't have to spend 800 swiftness. And yeah, that's so yeah. I want to sum it up. So I have like 15 here, 20 here, 10 here if I have it, and on top of that I would have also the swiftness here, skill cooldown, which also actually applies to, I think, Awakening, if I'm not fully false, but it doesn't matter because we already reached the cap of that. If nobody knows, cooldown reduction cap is at 80%. So what does this mean for my other skills, for my regular skills? This means my regular skills will get 18.4. They will get 10% here, and they will get 18% here, as well as the gems. We didn't factor those in. Holy Protection, for example, 14%. So you see where I'm going with this. By losing 8% damage reduction, I get an insane amount of cooldown reduction. Which helps. That's why I call it save them, because I literally can spam shit like shield. No, not. I mean, they still have cooldown, but because at some point you reach a cap, but it's still you can't. I don't think you can get any lower by there. Also, I have the awakening every 1 minute and 20 roundabout, which is also insane. So you see, this is for match. This is the skill cooldown for Match Extreme. Then we have then we have the Inner Awakening. So yeah, that's essentially every 20 seconds I can get this. And the other skills are also pretty nice on cooldown. I mean, you obviously shouldn't spam shit, you know, because it does. I mean, it doesn't make sense to. In order to upkeep the buffs, you should not spam them because you will not have an upkeep of damage buffs, because not all of the buffs actually stack. Like, so you see that I'm at least even with 15% MP recovery, 15 times 3, I still get, if I would spam everything, I would get half of MP loss. Obviously, you don't play that like that because you can't use Heavenly Blessing and Wrath of God, as you see. You know, Express Fury will not work with Veiler, so it wouldn't make sense to use both skills after another. But the skill cooldown is pretty decent. And the Awakening is already ready again. And then I can blast this one, so my rotation essentially. Get away, man. Get away. Yes. So essentially my rotation would look like, so if I have my meter up, would look like this. Let me get my meter. So if I have Blessed Arrow up, I don't use this one. I don't lose Light Shock simply for the fact that Godsend Law will give me a little bit more time. So Holy Aura is up for around, I don't know, 30, 40, 15 seconds, round about there. So I don't want to use the 6% damage buff. The 10% damage buff for 6 seconds. I want to use Godsend Law in combination with either Heavenly Blessing or Wrath of God, preferably Heavenly Blessing because of the additional benefits it gets. So it would be, a full damage buff rotation would be essentially would be Holy Aura. This one, then Heavenly Blessing, and then this is essentially, now you are fully buffed up. What does this mean? This means you will get 10%. Oh, so sorry. 10%. 15. So you get 10% from here for 12 seconds. You will get 15% attack power, which is not multiplicative. Just want to say, you have to factor that. This you cannot factor it in as this one. This is multiplicative one. Heavenly Blessing right now with my spec with my spec points is around 22% multiplicative damage. So we would have 10 here, 22 from here, from Holy Aura, and 15% attack power, essentially. So this is my save them all bill, essentially. So I'm losing 8% here because of because I don't use Spam of Yearning. And when I'm done with Holy Aura, what other buffs do I use essentially? So during the downtime for the big damage buffs, let's say I start with this, I do this, I do this, then I use my macro, which I can't use right now, which tells people now it's the time you should probably do your shit. If it's down, you can continue with the other buffs, the smaller ones, like this. By smaller, I mean lesser duration. And when it's over, you can use the other buffs as well. You can put some shielding inside, use this one. Always use this in combination because, I mean, yeah, well, you don't have to because, yeah, it's also, I mean, it's 8 seconds, right? 8 seconds and 12 seconds, so it's better than 6 seconds. So I try to use the shorter ones together, and when they are done, I will use the longer ones together. Simple as that. Put a shield inside, in between. Yeah, that's how you do it. um, yeah. This was my fast build essentially with the high cooldown spec essentially. So now I'm giving up 18% cooldown for full damage buff, which would look like. Can I actually do that, or will he fuck me over? Oh, he does. Let me change it. Let me check. Yeah, it's a full yearning set. So I will lose 30% on the awakening and 18% on my skills, which puts me at raw by number puts me at it's 28, I think. 28% without the gems, obviously. Uh, this is down here. Yeah, 28. You might ask where the number coming from? The number is easily explained. So I'm getting it from here, 18.42, and the other 10% I currently get from full stack magic stream skill cooldown. So I'm at 28, and the game's on top, right? But I will provide the full set. Means everybody who stands in the circle, you know it, will get the 6 set bonus as well. So you don't only get swiftness, attack, move, speed plus 8. They will also get the 8% increased damage, which is which has no downtime, which is good. Which I always prefer. But the thing is, um, sometimes you really for new content and stuff like that, people don't know the patterns. I in general rather go with the save them all setup because it will give me the 18% cooldown, and more importantly, it will give me the 30% cooldown on awakening. So I have more opportunities to save people. Simple as that. Because I mean, if you can use that earlier, it's a good thing because no, if it's not a wipe mechanic, you will survive when you have that shield. Simple as that. Yeah. So in this setup, I mean, it's pretty much the same, right? I will go full meter. I will use my holy aura. I will use this one. Ah, fuck! I fucked it up, and I would have used this one. So I will use this one. I will use this one, and now you have 22% from holy aura, 15% attack power, 8% multiplicative damage from yearning, as well as the 10% multiplicative from here. So this would be the, I couldn't possibly do more right now with the setup, with the gear. It puts me around 55, maybe, something. Wait, what is it? Yeah, around about that. That's a full. But the difference is, I mean, you saw that I was at like 20 seconds, and now I'm at 25 seconds. So we're talking about 5 seconds cooldown on this skill on Holy Protection, for example. And I mean, it shows at the other skills as well, right? To be honest, my I don't have gems right now. I moved them to another char, so you could make this even better by adding the gems, right? Which one is important? This one? No, this is not important. But yeah, that's a good one. Get it in. Uh, Heavenly Blessing. Most important shit. So, yeah. I mean, not much difference, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much the two builds I have right now. Or the two presets with the same gear. Or mostly the same, except the set bony. That's what I meant. You have quite a lot of possibilities to with the sets to mix up stuff to make it a little bit different. I think I don't want to give up the holy aura damage buff. I think people are mostly connecting the holy aura with oh, I'm getting healed, but it actually also provides really good damage buffs. Actually, the best damage buff the Paladin can provide if you spend points on specialization. Yeah, that's pretty much my take on it. I can't wait for bracelets because I think I want to see how this actually scales up. I thought about switching one item back to swiftness, but I'm fine with swiftness right now. 800 is absolutely enough, especially if I have Magic Stream. The better you play your character, the more benefit you get from Magic Stream. What do I mean by that? Know the patterns of the boss. If you know the patterns, you can dodge it more easily. You will lose stacks when you get hit, and when you lose stacks, you will lose the skill cooldown reduction. Only at 5 stacks you will get the skill cooldown reduction. So the better you play, the better you can support your team. Simple as that.